Today we are in Green Lake because we are meeting with the owners here of Rosita's Mexican Grill. It's a family-owned restaurant. They are celebrating their 40th anniversary here in the neighborhood. They make all of their tortillas in-house. They've got staff members who've been working here for decades, and we're meeting with Sergio and Melisa, the owners of Rosita's. If you're in Green Lake, come check them out.
My name is Melissa. I'm one of the co-owners of Rosita's restaurant.
My name is Sergio, and I'm the owner of Rosita's restaurant. We started the restaurant like 40 years ago, and it was a small little restaurant. There were probably only 6 Mexican restaurants in Seattle. My sister and my brother and I myself opened the restaurant. I was in the kitchen cooking. I used to own a Mexican restaurant when I was 19 years old in San Francisco with my uncle, and he owned a few restaurants. I came by myself.
You came by yourself?
And then my sister was living here in Seattle with her husband, and,
Okay.
and I asked them if they wanted to be my partners in Rosita, so I opened the restaurant myself with them. This is the original Rositas. We opened it here. It was only 40 people. We only had a small little restaurant at that. 40 years ago, Green Lake was, it was nothing around here. It was only us and probably the Little Red Hen, which has been there forever. Over the 40 years, we have a lot of families that came in the beginning, and it's funny because some of the families, they come, used to bring their babies, you know, and now their babies are having a margarita in the bar. So it's kind of like a family restaurant, really nice atmosphere. My sister Rosa, she's my partner when we opened Rosita. Her name is Rosa, and Rosa, we call it for, what we call it for a short, Rosita.
Rosita.
And then we call it Rositas from her name, you know. We decided to call it that
Named
name.
after her.
The food, it's inspired. When I opened Rositas, I had a sister that she used to own another Mexican restaurant here in Seattle, Carmen, and she's a very good cook. Between her recipes and mine, we better Rosita's recipes. It's a family tradition. So
They're
it's,
definitely family recipes that my aunt created. I mean, if you like steak, I think the carne asada is a really good dish to have. That's just a lean skirt steak that's served with rice and beans.
Another thing we have very good is the pollo al carbon. It's a chicken chipotle sauce, a little bit spicy, but not too hot, you know, that you cannot eat it. In that you make tacos with a fresh handmade corn tortillas. I think all the food that we have, like fajitas, tastes so good with a fresh handmade corn tortillas.
Irma's been making tortillas here since the 90s. I mean, we have a handful of staff that have been here, some of them 30 years, some of them 20 years, 15 years. I feel like we've been really lucky, and they do feel like family.
I was going with a tortilla lady, and I get the tortillas from the grill, and I bring it to them, and I go, these tortillas just came out the grill, they're really fresh. Because when you get those tortillas coming out the grill, they taste so good, those tortillas. It's like when you have homemade bread, it tastes good when it comes off the oven.
I think consistency has really been the key with us being so successful for 40 years. And I think that my dad is, well, for one, he's always like checking the avocados when they arrive off the truck, and if they're not good, he sends them back. And you know, just making sure that the food quality is excellent. He's always back there tasting the sauces, just make sure that they taste good. Our head cook has been here since the beginning, and so she makes the food 6 days a week, and I think that's part of the reason why it's consistent.
That concludes our time here at Rosita's. Shout out to Melissa and Sergio. Thank you so much for having me. 40 years. Not many restaurants here have had this kind of legacy. Make sure you get a margarita. You can show up. Make sure you go check out that tortilla stand.